People hear she's using THC and immediately visualize me on a couch doing absolutely nothing. But what they don't know is when I'm using it, I've just ran about 14 or so miles with the sunrise. So this video is talking about how I personally use THC and other cannabis products, because for me, cannabis and training aren't opposites. They're actually part of my same toolkit. I'm Sydney, co-founder of Restart. I'm a certified personal trainer, a nutritionist. I've run 3 marathons and I'm currently training for my first ever 50K ultra, as well as running my 4th marathon in the beginning of 2027. On my personal Instagram, Spin City, where I share a lot more running and fitness content. It's my hobby, if you will, compared to this is my full-time job. They just so happen to coexist. But I get a lot of questions when I share videos of me taking a gummy and going for a run on how the hell I do it, how much to take, what kind of gummy, is there a specific type of product, should you take it before or after, how do you actually use THC and still function because you're on a run. So we're gonna cover all of that. I'm gonna go into personal products I use, no fluff, just real honest takes, and my real routine surrounding cannabis consumption and running. So first thing I want to clear up is there's no one size fits all ever when it comes to cannabis, but especially when it comes to finding the right dose for your fitness routine. For me personally, I don't reach for just one product every single time. It genuinely depends on the day, the activity, and how my body's actually feeling. Some days that's a higher dose THC gummy. Some days it's a topical for recovery, and sometimes it's nothing at all. I just cold turkey my workouts like a normal human being. The mistake I think people make is that they're treating cannabis like it's one thing and it has one job. And to me, that's an oversimplified version of what THC can do for you. Different cannabinoids, different doses, different ways to consume can all serve completely different purposes. So first things first, on my recovery days, which is after a long run, after a heavy lift session, or maybe after a really just hard training session, like a double day in general. This is where my Delta 9 gummies and my topicals really come into play. I love a good cannabis topical. If my knees are really feeling it, my hips, I have extra sore muscles anywhere, rubbing a topical on those areas is great for someone who's just dealing with pain but doesn't want to consume anything. It's localized, it's non-intoxicating. So honestly, it's the easiest barrier to entry if you're super skeptical or very nervous about adding THC to your fitness routine. The gummy is about the whole body relaxation side. Gummies help me actually wind down, get better sleep, recover faster, which if you're training for anything long distance, you know that recovery is the key. So your training doesn't get messed up, you can avoid injury, and you can actually perform a lot better on race day because you recovered properly. These are my top 2 gummies that I reach for on my recovery days. Number 1, this is just a 10 milligram THC edible that at this tolerance level I'm at right now, 10 milligrams feels good. I definitely feel it, but I'm not completely couch locked. So it's a really nice wind down or an active recovery day that I'm just exploring town, going to the grocery store or doing something. I like to take a 10 milligram gummy because I can sit on the couch, not be totally out of it, fold some clothes, and still get things done. My other favorite edible, if you want to dive into the world of other cannabinoids, is this one. And this is like my holy grail go-to anytime I just want a really robust, well-rounded gummy. This is what I grab for and what I've been taking pretty much ever since we launched it. It has always been my go-to gummy. I've tried every single product that we offer, and this is the one that I grab for again and again. So this one has 20 milligrams THC, 50 milligrams CBD and CBG, as well as live resin. So again, it's a more well-rounded, robust gummy. If you want to learn more about all those individual cannabinoids, we have a lot more in-depth videos on it, but for today's purpose, having the other cannabinoids, keeping it short, CBD and CBG are great non-intoxicating cannabinoids to help in the recovery process. So I like having a gummy that does it all, so I'm not having to take multiple products. And the THC, obviously, again, is just more fun and very relaxing. If I were to use this one though, honestly, because my tolerance is pretty low compared to avid users, I would take a half or even a quarter depending on where my tolerance is at. 20 milligrams, not gonna lie, it's a lot for me. So I really never take the full gummy. Now, because tolerance varies from person to person, this is a really good time to state, as we do in every edible or drink video, is start low and go slow. If you're using it on the recovery portion like we're talking about, you can maybe start in the 5-10 milligram range, maybe 10 if you're more of an avid consumer. But if you're very, very new to cannabis, I would say start at around 5. And this is, again, what I do, my perfect routine, but what works for me, it may not work the exact same way for you. So be open to trying other products and figuring out what the best formula is for what you're looking for. On my active training days, for example, my long run days on Saturdays or pretty intense hikes, the days that I actually need to be hyper focused and present, I'm moving around for hours on end, I reach for my THCV gummies over something that has a lot of Delta-9 in it. THCV is a completely different cannabinoid altogether. Where THC Delta-9 tends to slow you down and relax you, THCV does the exact opposite and gives you a boost of energy, helps you focus. I feel really clear-headed when I take THCV. And it's known as the diet weed because THCV doesn't stimulate your appetite, it actually suppresses your appetite. So THCV also doesn't induce the munchies, which is nice because you're in the middle of training, and although there are often snacks involved, you're not getting cotton mouth and you're not getting that dry feeling that you'll get from traditional THC gummies. So for example, I really only consume edibles, I would say, before training days on the weekends. When it comes to consuming during the week, I usually keep it to the evenings or after work, just because that's how I like to operate. So on the weekends, when I'm reaching for a THCV gummy before a long run, I'll usually take one, have my snack before the long run, drink some water, prepare. It's about 30-45 minutes before I actually head out on my run. And then by the time I'm starting my run, that gummy is taking effect. Runner's High is a line of gummies that we offer here at Restart. This one is a pink lemonade flavor. This one in particular has 25 milligrams of THCV, 20 milligrams of caffeine. And for reference, a cup of coffee has around 80 to 100 milligrams. So it's a really micro dose of caffeine as well. And then 5 milligrams of THC. The reason I really like this one before a long run, even though it has THC in it, is because of that THCV and the caffeine addition. Plus, it's only 5 milligrams. So for me, it's a pretty low dose. I'm not, again, feeling super high on my run. I know you've probably seen videos of people taking like 20 gummies, stuffing it in their mouth. There's a lot of trending stuff going on there. I am not that kind of person. I'm not that kind of influencer. I think that is bonkers and crazy personally. Do you? But the more, I would say, ethical and approachable method is doing a low dose gummy and then finding the cannabinoid tailored to the performance or the outcome that you want, right? So THCV, because it gives me focus, because it gives me a little boost of energy, because of that little bit of caffeine, you get like the tiniest bit of like energy boost, but you're not gonna find the crash or the jitters later on, like maybe traditional caffeine may do for you. So I really like this one with a little bit of THC. We also offer Runner's High with no THC, just the THCV and caffeine version. So we have a little bit of something for both. So this one is like my weekend run gummy. If I wanted to take Runner's High during the week, I'd probably reach for the one without THC. THCV products like Runner's High, I feel like generally get the most disbelief because oftentimes when you think of cannabis, again, you're thinking like, oh my gosh, I don't want to be on the couch. Oh my gosh, I'm not going to be productive today. This does the exact opposite. Just because cannabis or THC is in the name, it performs in the same way as traditional THC. And then there's like the social side to all this fitness, right? Which I like to classify and consume just, running and using it for my workouts, before a lift session, before a run, or after as a recovery. You want to have a little bit of fun, right? Like if your friends are going out and having a good time and they're drinking or staying out late, if you want to reach for a THC drink instead and still be social, still feel a little buzz, still have a really good time, but be completely good for the next day that you're doing your long run and waking up for, THC drinks are my go-to. Drinks have genuinely replaced alcohol for me, and it's been awesome. I still do drink alcohol sometimes, but if I have the option to grab a THC beverage, that is exactly what I'm grabbing for. A real life example of this was last weekend. My husband and 2 of our friends went out to a baseball game. They drank, hung out, were out really late. I stayed at home. I opted out of it because I knew they were going to be out late. I knew they were going to be drinking. And you know what I did? I made myself a little remedy mocktail at home. I folded some laundry, stayed up watching a movie, went to bed, and the next day I got to wake up at 5:30, 6 a.m., go on my run. My husband was hungover in bed. I'm really calling out here, so he's going to hate that I'm talking about this. But it really helped me have a little fun. Even though I was alone at home, it helped me have a little fun, have my moment, watch a good movie, have some laughs, and still go out the next day. Plus, I was able to go out the next day, run, do all my errands, and then we hung out with friends later that day. While my husband was suffering from his hangover, I was having a great time. So there's that. So you can also use THC drinks after your long race, after a run club hangout. So like I was saying, if you've ever tried to recover after a really intense workout or a long run while nursing the gnarly hangover, you know that those 2 things just do not mix. Maybe at the age of 23, but now that I am in my 30s, me and alcohol and running and working out do not mix at all. Again, a lighter drink just helps you stay social without setting your training or recovery back. I do want to be pretty direct about something. The stoner stereotype is very outdated. A lot of athletes use cannabis. There are a lot of people online with really big popular platforms that are open about talking about their cannabis consumption. And endurance athletes especially are cannabis users. There is a real growing community of runners, hikers, cyclists, rowers, triathletes, using cannabis very thoughtfully as part of their training program. It's not about being high. It's not about being stoned to the bone. It's about matching the right product at the right amount to the right purpose. That is the whole philosophy and something I really want you to take home. And I hope this video is, coming across as such. But just because you see someone online taking hundreds of milligrams of THC, that number 1 is obviously entertainment purposes, but number 2, that's not the reality of how a lot of athletes are using it. So I would say the more, I don't want to say like serious athletes, because there are really serious athletes who do get stoned and go on these long, crazy, like 200-mile races, which can't relate. But there are a huge chunk of people that want to use cannabis as an enhancer to their performance, not just to get likes or views on Instagram post. A few things that I want to say clearly, because I am a co-founder of a company and I do sell these products. What I'm consuming is legal hemp-derived THC. I've been to dispensaries in other states. I love visiting them. Always super fun to see what the local dispensaries are serving up, and I love consuming their products while I'm there. But in general, when I am in Texas, I am consuming my own products anytime. Anytime I want to take a cannabis product, it is Restart branded. But just because it's hemp derived, you still have to be 21 plus, and you do need to know your own state laws. Every moment I feel like these state laws change. We're pretty well versed on what happens in Texas, staying caught up here. But as far as other states are concerned, you do have to pay attention to your local laws as well. We'll be rolling out more videos that are a little bit more broad, covering the state of hemp in America, the state of where marijuana is at, what these 2 industries are bringing to the table, what we're fighting for. But for now, Restart obviously is a Texas-based brand, so we just know a lot about Texas. So when it comes to your state, I would just encourage you to do a little bit more research and understand what kinds of products you have access to. And if you have any questions, you can DM them below and I'll do my best to find the answer for you. But yeah, always do your own research. Also, everything I've shared today is my personal experience. It's not a recommendation for you necessarily. And it for sure as hell is not medical advice. Start low, go slow, and understand your own tolerance before you take that giant gummy and get to moving on a trail, a road, anywhere in between. A little carve out here. So it's important to also practice these things if you are currently training for anything and you want to incorporate THC into your routine or CBD or anything else. The training is training not just physically, but mentally. What do you need? Where are you at? So being able to take these things during your training period will help prepare you for race day as well. So if you want to take gummies for your race, I would highly recommend taking that gummy before a long run or before a long cycle ride. Don't experiment with something new on race day. You want to decrease the amount of variables and newness happening on race day because you are going to be on high alert. Everything's going to be very new. You might black out for a little bit and then come to Jesus at mile 18. But honestly, speaking from experience, even when I'm not using an edible for a race, there's just so much new uncharted territory when it comes to racing. So many things that can go wrong. You want to eliminate the risk factors, if you will. So that's my honest routine. Obviously, we talked about quite a few different products today, and I told you a little bit about how I'm using products personally while training for my next race. And this is, again, what actually works for me and how I use things transparently. I try to keep my cannabis consumption to the weekends. So like a Friday through Sunday thing or a Thursday through Saturday thing, because I like treating it as a drug, which is what it is, right? I don't want to rely heavily on it. I want to make sure I'm still very present in my day-to-day, and I use it with caution. So if I ever feel like my tolerance is too high or if I can take a break, then I'm going to do those things and then I can always come back to it. But again, on that note, everyone is very different. So if you're someone that uses cannabis as medicine, it is your medicinal drug, if you will, then obviously your routine is going to be very different than mine. So there's no judgment if you consume every day. It's just understanding those boundaries and where you're currently at. If you're an athlete who's curious about cannabis consumption, but never really had anyone to talk to about it, I genuinely hope this video helped you today. And if you have other questions or just want some feedback or some guidance, you can always reach out to us at Restart. Our team is happy to help. Or you can reach out to me individually. Shameless plug, my Instagram is Spin City. So if you want to go follow me on there, I'm posting my 50K training journey. I'm also throwing in my little edible long run videos throughout. You can also drop your questions below in the comments. And if you want to check out any of the products I mentioned here today, I will also link those as well. If you enjoyed this video, found it helpful, make sure to subscribe to our channel and like this video. If you're an athlete or know an athlete who's been talking about this, definitely share this video as well. The more people that we can talk openly about this to and share this kind of knowledge with, the more we can understand our bodies and actually find products that really enhance our performance and just make general day-to-day that much better. That's all for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.